Hey guys, what's going on? This is Tyler, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys part 2 of What If Bardock Fled to Namek. Now, I saw the overwhelming support you guys actually gave part 1 by hitting the like goal in less than a day, and so I've decided to basically bring you guys part 2 a lot earlier than expected. In the description, check out Ultimate ADJ's What If Bardock Fled Planet Vegeta, since this What If is a little bit inspired by title by it. Even though the stories are completely different, you should still check it out, along with checking out Cobb's arts on Twitter, because he was the one who made this incredible Bardock art. With that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into part 2 of What If Bardock Fled to Namek. We start our story off with Bardock showing off his power, which attracted Frieza and Vegeta and Zarbon, and Vegeta decided to go check out this mysterious power, while Frieza sent Zarbon to go check it out. Now, as the two of them make their way to Guru's house, Gohan and Krillin learn about Bardock's true power and how he is in fact a force to be reckoned with, and Bardock, after hearing this, would get a vision, and he would then see into the future once again, and all we see is a warrior with golden hair fighting Frieza, but Frieza is in a much different state. However, we don't get to see the front face of this golden warrior or this golden haired warrior, but we see the back of him. However, Bardock would eventually snap out of it and eventually alert the group about what had just happened, and Gohan and Krillin would be confused hearing about Frieza potentially having the ability to transform or go into a much more different state of power, but Guru just quickly tells Gohan and Krillin to come near him. They would go near him, and like in canon, Gohan and Krillin get their potential unlocked, and along with Dende, he would also get his potential unlocked, and immediately after, they are stopped by Zarbon, who had just arrived on the scene. However, before he could try and enforce his dominance, he would be stopped by Vegeta, and Vegeta decides to actually combat Zarbon, and like in canon, he would actually overpower base Zarbon, but wouldn't overpower full-powered Zarbon or the ugly state. And Zarbon is about to kill off Vegeta, but Bardock would actually stop Zarbon in his tracks, and Zarbon would then meet with Bardock's Riot Javelin, and as the Riot Javelin consumes Zarbon, Zarbon would turn into dust, and Bardock basically just saved Vegeta. Bardock would then tell Dende to heal Vegeta, and don't worry, just trust Bardock, and so Dende would actually trust Bardock and heal Vegeta, and he would do this reluctantly because he knows how Vegeta is basically kind of just destroyed all of his villages, but he does trust Bardock, so he does reluctantly heal Vegeta, and Vegeta's power level rises to 30,000 due to the Zenkai. He's shocked to see Bardock, another Saiyan, and he immediately questions about Bardock and how he managed to survive, and Bardock would simply say that he fled. Vegeta would then say, "Wait, how do you not even have a tail?" Bardock would then say how he basically cut it off as it was kind of a burden to him, and so Bardock actually just cut it off. And before Bardock could even speak anymore, Vegeta would then say, "Wait, let's go back a few steps. You just said that you fled away from planet Vegeta? You're nothing but a coward, a disgrace to the Saiyan race." Bardock would then say how he actually agrees, but now's not the time to basically call each other cowards and basically talk about Bardock's Saiyan pride. Bardock's voice would then soften up and he would clear his throat, and he would then say, "I don't care if I'm a coward to you. I will manage to overcome him. I don't care what kind of transformations he has. I'll power up and become the legendary Super Saiyan myself, and I'll defeat Frieza once and for all." Vegeta would then laugh and he would then say, "How can a coward like you achieve such great power?" Bardock would get mad at Vegeta since Vegeta's all up in his face, and Bardock would then proceed to punch Vegeta down to the ground. Vegeta, after feeling this sudden force of strength, would proceed to leave and tell Bardock that this isn't over. Vegeta is heavily damaged from Bardock's attack because Bardock outclasses Vegeta in every single way. Now, Vegeta is currently going to go and fly out to try and take the Dragon Balls, and while this is all going down, Frieza would get frustrated since no one would want to report back to him, and he has no other choice but to call in the Ginyu Force, and so he proceeds to call in the Ginyu Force, and like in canon, the Ginyu Force would then be on their way. Now, with Vegeta off of their hands, Bardock, Krillin, and Gohan would try their best in finding the Dragon Balls by basically splitting up and looking for them. Because of Bardock and Nail, along with Dende's knowledge, they will be able to locate the Dragon Balls relatively easy. As the gang were collecting the Dragon Balls, they would only need 3 Dragon Balls left, as they actually have 4 Dragon Balls, and Bardock would then hypothesize that maybe the remaining 3 Dragon Balls are on Frieza's ship, but then Gohan would come up with the hypothesis that maybe it was with Vegeta, and so now they need to decide where the Dragon Balls might be. Bardock then says that they should split up, with Nail, Dende, Gohan, and Krillin could basically go on distract Frieza and get the 3 Dragon Balls if they're there, but if they're not there, Bardock can just basically go down, hunt Vegeta, and take those Dragon Balls. Balls, and vice versa. And so with that out of the way, Bardock would then proceed to fly out to where maybe Vegeta is. Bardock can sense energy, so he'll definitely be able to detect Vegeta, and he'll locate him, and then he'll just fly to his location. And while that happens, Nail, Dende, Gohan, Krillin, we're gonna have to basically try and deal with Frieza. Dealing with Frieza is gonna be way harder than dealing with Vegeta, but Nail actually has a plan. Nail challenges Frieza to fight as a distraction, so Krillin, Gohan have enough time to collect all the Dragon Balls, and Frieza actually takes the bait, and Nail would actually request Frieza to come with him to the Namekian battlegrounds, and Nail would then fly off with Frieza, like in canon, and Krillin and Gohan then make quick work of the Frieza soldiers and Frieza's ship, and they managed to collect all 3 Dragon Balls. And it turns out that Bardock went to go fly out for Vegeta for nothing, and Bardock should have probably stayed back. Anyways, Gohan, Krillin, Dende, and Nail proceed to fly back to Guru's house, and at that point we cut to Bardock's perspective, and Bardock is currently talking with Vegeta, trying to get information from him, basically interrogating him about the Dragon Balls, and Vegeta's just denying everything. And at that point, Bardock would just believe Vegeta, as he actually believes that the group probably got the other Dragon Balls, and Bardock would just leave. However, as he proceeds to leave, 5 space pods then land right in front of Bardock, and it turns out to be the Ginyu Force. Bardock does recognize the Ginyu Force, as he was a low-class Saiyan. He basically saw Frieza and his elite forces up in the air, basically flexing off their power, and the Ginyu Force actually don't really remember Bardock. They would just say how he was a low-class Saiyan, so he's irrelevant, and they would recognize Vegeta and just bully him. And so Vegeta would have no other choice but to try and combat the Ginyu Force, with Bardock actually assisting Vegeta, and Bardock would actually combat Burter while Jace would combat with Vegeta. And Vegeta would actually get demolished by Jace. Jace is just far above this Vegeta. Vegeta would need another Zenkai boost in order to keep up, and this Vegeta is just getting overwhelmed. Now as for Bardock versus Burter, Bardock is just completely dismantling Burter even harder than when Goku did. Bardock would just punch a hole right through Burter, and Burter would just go down for the count, instantly dead. And at that point, Bardock would try and assist Vegeta against Jace, but at that point, Recoome and Goldo then interfere, as they basically don't want Jace fighting 2 Saiyans at once. And so Recoome and Goldo will try and work together to beat Bardock, and before Goldo can even have the time to even hold his breath so that he can stop time, Bardock would just one-shot and chop Goldo's head off, and at that point he would shoot a Tyrant Lancer right through Recoome's chest, instantly killing him. And at that point, Bardock would then throw a Riot Javelin at Jace, as Jace was getting ready to finish off Vegeta, saving Vegeta once again. And Ginyu would be intrigued in Bardock and would tell Bardock to go all out. Bardock would then proceed to go all out, and Ginyu's scouter would only read 2 million before just breaking. And when Ginyu indicates that it's basically Bardock's power level and it wasn't just a glitch, Ginyu then proceeds to try and use his body change technique on Bardock. However, Bardock being so much more faster than Ginyu, he would just dodge the beam and would just rush at Ginyu with no mercy and would punch him right through the chest once again and would finish off Ginyu. So it looks like Ginyu's games aren't actually going to be playing a part in Namek. And by the way, Goku hasn't even arrived, and the Ginyu Force are already down, and all the Frieza soldiers are already down. We then cut to Nail's perspective, and Nail is on the Namekian battlegrounds getting ready to combat Frieza. Nail actually powers up to his 100% state, which actually surprises Frieza and breaks his scouter, and Frieza then charges at Nail in his first form, and Nail completely dismantles Frieza's first form. Remember, he's at a power level of 2,500,000, so Frieza's going to need a lot more power than his first form. He then transforms into his second form and gets overwhelmed, and Frieza just says screw it and skips his third form and goes straight into his final form. Frieza then charges at Nail and completely dismantles him at his 10% state, and Nail is just being pushed back. And Nail has no other choice but to just try his best and to try and stall, and Nail at that point would use his Mystic Flash technique. And it seemingly does damage to Frieza, but it would then reveal that Frieza basically took no damage. And the last thing we see is Frieza just completely dismantling Nail. We then cut to Bardock's perspective, and Bardock would proceed to fly to Guru's house, but then would see a spaceship fly down to Namek. And Bardock saying this would indicate that this is probably one another Frieza's men or one another Frieza's elite soldiers, so he's just going to go and finish them off real quick. And when the spaceship lands, he then waits for the door to open, and when the door opens, he's actually surprised to see not a Frieza soldier, but his son Kakarot. Yes, he knows that this is Kakarot because he's been getting all of these visions and these weird illusions that tell the future, and Bardock overall he just knows that this is his son, and he would walk up to Goku, and he would then say, Kakarot, is that you, son? Goku would then be confused, and he would then say, son? What do you mean, son? Bardock would just he can't even explain right now, can't even get the words out, and he would just hug Goku, and Goku in confusion would just hug back. Goku would then pull Bardock back, and he would then say, "Well, maybe you're my dad. We look just the same. It's like looking into a mirror. It's like I can see myself or something." Bardock would then say to Goku, "There's a lot to talk about, Kakarot, but right now, we have no time." At that point, this would be around the same time where Nail would fight Final Form Frieza, and Final Form Frieza's power would then be sensed around the entire planet. Goku would then question, "What is this immense power?" and Bardock would then say, "It's Frieza. We have no time. We have to get to Guru's house now." Bardock and Goku then proceed to fly out, with Bardock going to Guru's house and Goku following. On the way, Bardock would kind of give a recap as to what is currently going on, and Goku would get a rundown of the situation and would find out that Gohan and Krillin are actually on the planet and safe. So he's glad to know that his son is alive, along with his best friend. While they fly back to Guru's house, Dende would actually help Krillin and Gohan in summoning Porunga, and they would already make the first two wishes. The first wish is to revive Piccolo, and the second wish is to teleport him to planet Namek. At that point, Bardock and Goku then arrive, and Bardock would then quickly tell Gohan and Krillin to wish for Nail to be brought back to them, because Bardock does actually care about Nail. However, as Dende makes this wish, Frieza would already arrive and would just shoot a death beam straight through Guru, instantly killing him, but this would also shut down the Dragon Balls, and when Frieza realizes this, he would then get enraged because he failed his plan of immortality, and at that point, he would take out his rage upon the Z-Fighters and would begin to fight with them. Vegeta would arrive on the scene as well, but Vegeta would arrive at a point in time where he is just completely outclassed, so when he arrives and basically claims that he is a legendary Super Saiyan and basically got a Zenkai after the whole Ginyu Force beatdown, Frieza just instantly kills Vegeta, and at that point, Vegeta would tell Bardock to avenge the Saiyan race. Bardock, after getting this speech, would have no other choice but to try and combat Frieza, and Kakarot would actually join him in activating his Kaioken times 10 attack, so Frieza just powers up into his 15% state and completely obliterates Goku and Bardock. Bardock is just beaten into the ground, and so is Goku, but Dende quickly heals Goku and tries to heal Bardock, but Frieza actually kills Dende in time, so Goku only gets healed up, and so Goku's base form would currently be at a power level of 3 million. Goku once again then activates his Kaioken times 10 attack, and his power would rise to 30 million, but Frieza just quickly discombobulates Goku, and Goku is then reverted into his base form. Bardock, looking defeated and nearly dead, would just begin to cry and thinking about all of his failures and how he couldn't accomplish anything. Nail is dead, everyone's gone. Well, Bardock believes Nail is dead. Bardock would stand up and let out a huge roar. This roar would summon multiple thunderstorms and would just cause a bunch of thunderbolts to slam down on Namek. Bardock's eyes would turn into an aqua greenish color, and his hair would then be turned into a golden light color, and his aura would then convert into a yellow aura rather than his regular white aura. He is now emerged into a brand new state, and Frieza knows what this is: the legendary Super Saiyan. And yes, Bardock has achieved Super Saiyan and is the first Super Saiyan, because I believe him going Super Saiyan is probably a lot better and makes a lot more sense than for Goku to go Super Saiyan. Bardock's power would then rise to that of 125 million, and Bardock isn't going to let Frieza go into his 100% state. Frieza has made him suffer long enough for over 2 decades, and Bardock is just going to make him pay now. So Bardock just shoots out a full power Riot Javelin that consumes Frieza and would just revert him into atoms. However, due to Bardock's recklessness and his recklessness in his own power, Bardock's Riot Javelin would actually go through Frieza and then hit Namek's core, and now they have 5 minutes to exit world, or else the planet is going to blow up. Bardock, along with the rest of the Z-Fighters, would then find the Ginyu Force's ships that they actually found, but as the other Z-Fighters proceed to actually go on the spaceship, by around this time Piccolo would have arrived on the battlefield, by the way, along with actually Nail being there as well, and Nail and Piccolo haven't actually fused yet. But anyways, Nail, Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin, and basically everyone on Namek but Goku and Bardock would then be teleported back to Earth, and Bardock and Goku would then use the Ginyu space pods to basically escape, and they would actually go on to planet Yardrat. Goku and Bardock still go to Yardrat due to them randomly pressing buttons in the space pods, which would then lead them to go to Yardrat, and everything that basically goes down on Earth happens normal and happens like it in canon. However, one thing that would change is Piccolo actually fuses with Nail on Earth rather than on Namek, and Guru would still die, and like in canon, there would then be another Namekian elder. I don't remember his name, but anyways, the Namekians would eventually migrate to a brand new planet called New Namek, and they would eventually go onto New Namek, and then they would have gone home, and the Z Fighters would have eventually revived everyone who were killed by the Saiyans. So Yamcha would then come back, and then Tien and Chaozu. And then the events leading up to the Mecha Frieza arc would still happen as per normal. King Cold and Mecha Frieza would then go to Earth, and while that's going on, Goku and Bardock are currently training on Yardrat. And that is where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what did you guys think about this part? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Let me know down in the comment section below. Also, be sure to share with your friends and consider hitting that like button. Let's get this video to 1,500 likes, and then part 3 will then be released. Be sure to check out Ultimate ADJ's What If Bardock Fled Vegeta, along with checking out Cobb's arts for making this beautiful SSJ Bardock art. And with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get up out of here. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.